Thank you, Speaker. And my question's to the Treasurer. How is the Albanese Labor government's responsible economic management helping in the fight against inflation? And what approaches has the government ruled out?
Call to the Treasurer.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Those opposite might not care about the cost of living, but the member for Newcastle does. This side of the parliament does. That's why it's the #1 focus of this side of the House. It's why we're rolling out tax cuts for every taxpayer, energy bill relief for every household, cheaper medicines, cheaper early childhood education, better pay and more rent assistance. It's why the ABS says that inflation would be higher were it not for the cost of living help that we put in the budget. Our cost of living help is a key part of the fight against inflation, but not the only part. We've also turned 2 big Liberal deficits into 2 big Labor surpluses, and we've made the coming deficit smaller than we inherited from the incompetence over there, Mr Speaker. Our responsible economic management is particularly important when our economy is soft and there's a lot of uncertainty in the global economy. Weakness in the Chinese economy and the Big Four we've seen in iron ore prices are another reminder that we aren't immune from global economic volatility. That's why we take such a cautious and conservative approach to resource prices and revenue when we're putting our budgets together, and it's why we bank much more of any upside than our opponents used to do, Mr Speaker. Now, government spending is obviously not the primary determinant of prices in our economy, but our responsible economic management is helping, not hampering, the fight against inflation. In this regard, Mr Speaker, Governor Bullock made 3 very important points about governments and about working together with the Reserve Bank. The first point she said was that the government and the Reserve Bank are completely aligned. The second point that she has made in the last few weeks and months is that our surpluses are helping the fight against inflation. The third point she made is that public spending is not the main game when it comes to inflation. The governor's testimony on Friday completely obliterated all of the dishonesty that we hear from those opposite and repeated by others. These are the same people who left us inflation much higher and rising, a budget full of waste and rorts and much bigger deficits. And now they want higher inflation and higher interest rates and lower wages and less help for people, because they hope that nobody will notice that we're into the 3rd year of a 3-year term and they don't have any credible or costed economic policies. They don't want anyone to notice that what they've said about nuclear and housing and supermarkets will push prices up, not down, and make things worse. And they don't want to come clean on their $315 billion of cuts and what those cuts would mean for Medicare, for pensions and for our economy more broadly. Mr Speaker, we are providing cost of living help that they don't support, surpluses that they could not deliver, and responsible economic management they wouldn't know the first thing about and that they couldn't be bothered asking about.